Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Good? Good? Okay. No, a little bit closer. I have to eat it. All right. Okay. I think most of you probably know me. If you don't, I'm Diane Tucker, and I was honored when Sandy asked me if I would come and speak. I think I've probably known Margie for 20 plus years. Of course, I was only 12, so that tell you how old I am. Um, I come today, and I thought we were talking about what to wear, what we wore, and I remember growing up, my mother told me that you don't ever wear red to a funeral, that it's not polite, that it's you're supposed to be a time of mourning and sadness, and um, I'm wearing red today because we're not mourning and sad. We miss Margie, and we will grieve her, but today is not that day. We are going to celebrate her today. So, Mom, it's okay that I'm wearing red. So, I took some time to kind of think about celebration and celebrating what the word means. And we lift each other up, and we take one day where we celebrate. We bring family and friends together, and we just honor that person or persons. And we all do it. We've all done it. We've either been there or planned one, and it takes a lot of time and money to put a celebration together, a day to bring everyone together to celebrate and be happy and enjoy. And I thought, what about those other days? What about the other days of the year? What about the little victories, the small goals that we had, that we meet, and the little wars among ourselves that we meet, and we kind of think they're not really big enough to celebrate. We kind of let them pass. You conquered a fear, and I've still not conquered the bridge fear, so we're not celebrating that today either. But those things are really important, even though they're small. So I thought about some small things about Margie that we could kind of celebrate today. And one was Margie was very intelligent. She's very smart. She was a teacher. She was a mentor. She enjoyed telling you what she knew, whether we asked for it or not. But for someone to come to her and ask her how to do something or about something, she got enjoyment out of that. She touched all of our lives, and she touched the lives of a lot of people that she probably didn't even know about. Kind of like a pebble in a pond where it has that rippling effect. And so there's one day, especially in their lives, our lives, that we can celebrate because Margie did something for us. She taught us something new, and that may be small, but I think it's something we should celebrate. Another thing is how much fun Margie had. She loved life. She liked having fun. She liked laughing, kind of a prankster of sorts. But I remember, and you are going to remember this too, she was probably best known for taking off her prosthetic leg and using it as a collection plate to collect money. And that was fun for her. She laughed about it. We laughed about it while we were reaching for our wallets to put money in that leg for an organization and a purpose that was very, very dear to Margie. And she worked hard for that association for a lot of years and raised money and put in a lot of hours. And that may be small, but I celebrate it, and I think we probably all do too. We appreciate what she did for. I'm going to say insurance women. I'm sorry, that's what it still is to me. But in the celebrating, I think that if there was one thing that Margie would tell us today, and it would be, don't weep for me. Don't weep for me, my friends, because I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating on brand new legs that don't come apart. I'm celebrating in a brand new body that's not hurting, and it's not racked with pain. It's not stressed. And all my organs work. I know she's saying all my organs work, and I don't need a machine to help me. So she's celebrating, and she would want us to celebrate too. And we have to remember the little things, the little things, and celebrate them every time we can. And so with that, I'm going to open up the floor for anyone that might want to speak, but I believe Tom, her brother, would like to speak on the family's behalf first. If there's something you'd like to say first. Oh, okay.
I'm not going to use the mic. Can y'all hear me? Hi, people on live stream. I have to use the mic. I'll stand back here. We can use the mic. I just like, on behalf of our family, thank you all, especially insurance women. You were like a family to Marjorie. I know that. She talked about everybody all the time, and you're always there for her. Past couple years, she had a hard time, and she didn't communicate real well as far as on Facebook thanking people. But I know she did appreciate everything you did for her, and well, we all did. That was very nice. And we have I got some albums here that she kept. She gave me a list when she sold her house of what she wanted to keep, so I kept them. There's pictures here from trips that y'all went on. Some of them are old, back in the 90s. There's a bunch of pins. If you want them, help yourself. I know that'd make her happy. And I did know Marjorie longer than you. Like almost 63 years. I remember when she was born. Police car pulled up beside of my dad. Our father was a police officer. Got out, came over, talked to my dad. My dad turned around and said, "You got another sister." I wanted a brother. This is number 4 for sisters. But no, Marjorie had a good life. And but like I said, we appreciate everything that you've done for her over the years. It really made a difference for her. And, I don't know what to say. I will sign autographs afterwards, since I'm now on camera. No, I don't take money. I do everything for free. I donate my time.
All right. I know that almost every one of you have a story or a memory or something to share. So just come up here, because you have to be in front of the camera, and tell. We'd all like to hear, I'm sure, something special and funny. So just take the time and come up here and speak.
I'm going to tell you a story. It's not my story because I wasn't there. But when Margie went to Vancouver on an insurance woman trip, of course, we always tried to stay over. And she stayed over with Barbara Quintero and Janet Parker. And they went to Mount St. Helens and traveled around. Well, when they were at Mount St. Helens, it was sleeting, it was cold, it was miserable. So when they got back to the hotel, Barbara says, "Oh, there's a jacuzzi tub. I'm going to take a hot bath." So she gets ready for the bath, and she goes, "Margie, do you have any bubble bath?" And Margie goes, "Yeah." And she pulls out this little bottle of bubble bath and hands it to Barbara, and she goes in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, you hear her going, "Margie, Margie!" Margie goes running into the bathroom, and Janet's sitting on the bed, and she hears this whoosh, thump. And she goes, "Oh my God." And she gets up. Barbara Quintero, who's about this tall, is in this jacuzzi tub with bubbles up to her eyebrows. There's water all over the floor, and Margie is wedged between the toilet and the sink, holding the towel rack. And I wish I could tell this better because Janet Parker tells it the best of all. But that was not that untypical for our trips. We were always doing something crazy, and we just had a wonderful time together. And she really appreciates all of you so much. I can't tell you how important it was. She was even planning on going to Orlando last week. And I kept saying, "You can't do that. How are you going to do that?" And she says, "Well, I'll watch it on the video." So she was thinking of you guys until the end, and that was Margie.
Well, to keep it kind of on the travel theme, maybe many of you probably knew or may not, Margie was actually a licensed travel agent. So that's why she loved to make us go on various trips. And there was 3 that I recall that we as a group were going to a regional in Puerto Rico. We get to the Tampa airport early in the morning to find out our flight had been canceled. Now, this is the day before the convention. So, Margie, the travel agent, she gets with the clerk up there, and she arranges for us to get a later flight out of Orlando. And so we trucked over there, and we actually got to go to Puerto Rico with first class. So first time in ever I've been first class. But I think one of the biggest trips that she fixed for everyone was when we went to Alaska. She really loved planning us the trip before. Once we got to Alaska, we had an adventure the day before, and then after the convention, we had several days trip. That's actually when I first saw my first snow. So we stopped at a little roadside stop place, and we all made a little snowman. But Margie was fun. She loved planning trips for us. She loved helping us not only for the fun things, but for our careers. She mentored so many people. She mentored me when I joined Tampa from East Hillsboro. She kept telling me, you can do more, you can do this. She actually taught me into running for the Florida Council, which I did do for a year. So she has just been a mentor and a friend, and to everyone in not only Insurance Women, but to her other friends too.
This is going to be kind of hard for me, but the last 2 years have really been very hard for Margie, trying to accept, losing her second leg, and then COVID hit. So basically, nobody could come visit her. She didn't understand that, and it was very hard mentally for her the last 2 years. So, and she wind up calling me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, crying about this or that, and then trying to find a facility that she could go to that would be home, not just a facility that she has to share a room with 2 or 3 people. So it was kind of hard, and like I said to her brother, I said, you got to keep her phone number, because I'm used to dialing her number when I'm thinking of something at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So guess what? He's getting it disconnected. So if anybody wants to give me their phone number, so I need to call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just see me, will you? But no, she was a good soul, and even up to, like her last weeks, she was always thinking. And that was another thing about Orlando this past weekend. She says to me, we'll drive over just for Region 3 dinner. I said, who is going to drive over? I said, Margie, I'm having back problems. I can't do it. And I said, and you can't get in and out of my car. It's too high. Well, we'll find something. And even up to her last week, we're going to that dinner, I'll pay for it. We're going to that dinner. So, I mean, that was her family. I mean, we were her family, so that's all.
I don't remember what year it was, but we went to. Is that better? I don't know. Is that better? Good. We went to Hoover, Alabama, and Margie had decided that she would rent a van and they would all go, but she would be the one who ran back and forth to the airport to pick people up. So basically, she was the chauffeur that year. So we went to dinner on Friday night, and we passed a Krispy Kreme, and she said, if the light is on, we will stop. Little did we know what we were in for. So we're driving down the road, she sees the sign, and it was like no brakes and immediate turn. So we go to the drive-through. So she's ordering donuts, but before that, Deborah had given her money for donuts. I think she'd given her like $20 or something. So Margie has ordered them, and the Deborah and I were looking at each other, and I said, did she just say 200 donuts? And she said, well, if it is, $20 isn't going to cover it. Well, it wound up being 2 dozen. But that was the funniest thing, and Margie just kept on rolling. We'll all miss her so much, and she was such a fun person and a kind person, and she loved everybody, and everybody loved her. Everybody.
Well, hello. Not only was I closer, not only was I a member of NEIW and spent a lot of times knowing Margie through that way, we also worked together at USAA for a number of years, and had, and I want you to know that not only did she take care of her NAIW family, she also had a drawer at work for anything that anybody could have possibly wanted. She was the mother of all of her unit and most of USAA, which was not an easy task. And in addition to that, she knew my whole family. She kept up with everything that they did. She took an interest in everybody. And we were great Bucks fans back when, in 2004, when they won. We watched every game. Ida was with us most of the time too, and she was very superstitious. She had her little Bucks things that she would set out, and she's convinced that's what did it when we won the Super Bowl. But Margie was a dear friend to many people, and very much to me too. So.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Oh, up closer. Okay. I'm here today for myself and also Andrea. As you're well aware, she wanted to be in attendance today, and she could not. I know she's online. Hey. But anyway, we moved here in 2004, and we were the Region 1 plants. And we were very active up there, and both of us. And one thing we remember so much, and I believe it probably was Margie that coined this phrase for us, and it's Region 3 is the place to be. And the arms that were wrapped around us coming to the state and being a part of this family meant so much to us. And as we've pursued our careers and have gone different ways, semi-retirement and retirement and all of that stuff, one thing that stood clear is Margie. Margie was such a force to reckon with as a person, as a contribution to this organization. The boot thing, just handing the boot over, kind of thing. And I know Andrea personally also had a strong relationship with Margie as well. We just want to share our love and thank you all for what you've done for the organization and Margie and what she gives and gave to us as people and as friends. And we just want to share our gratitude for her and what she gave to us as well. So thank you.
Well, I am also a Region 1 transplant to Region 3. I swear I went to the Orlando convention when I first moved to Florida 13 years ago, and I don't know if I had sucker written on my head, but Margie found me, and Margie got me involved in Region 3 and Florida. A lot more than I had planned to be involved. but it was the best years of my life. I knew I couldn't do this. I get too emotional, but she was a friend, and we will all miss her.
For those that don't know me, I'm Deb McCurdy. I'm from a little town in Alabama by the name of Slapout. That is really a name of my town. And I've noticed all of your accents. I had forgotten how Florida is so diverse with all the accents, but I bet you're going to pick up my Alabama accent. I can remember hosting a conference in Montgomery, Alabama, and we went with the Southern Belle theme. Margie called me, and I was trying to get everybody to wear a Southern antebellum dress. She said, Deb, I can't wear one. I'm going to be in my wheelchair most of the time. I said, that is fine. You do not have to wear it. So it was a busy, full house at that regional. And of course, like we've said many times, we passed the boot, and it was a tremendous, I wish I had the figure, but I don't. But we raised a lot of money that year at that conference. The second story I want to tell you is I serve on a board with Diana Fink, so I travel here sometimes for a board meeting. And we came down, and I say we, that included Sylvia Robinson from Tennessee, Dee Horn from Georgia, Diana Fink was Florida, and myself, Deb McCurdy from Alabama. So we were at this meeting, and I said, Diana, you have a car. Yeah. I said, we all flew. I said, can we borrow your car, or do you have the time to take us to see Margie? She's at a rehab, but I don't know where. Well, she got her staff calling and finding out where she was. So we get in the car, and it was construction going on near this rehab. And I think Fritzy was, yes, in the car with us also. If y'all know Fritzy, it's Diana's left hand, right hand. So Fritzy's got the phone. We're trying to get directions, and I didn't think we were going to ever get there. I said, Margie, you'd be in bed asleep if we don't hurry up, because we go round and round and round, and we see the same thing. But we finally made it. We did not tell her we were coming. So you can imagine when the five of us walked in that door, how that affected Margie, that we were from all these states and had come to rehab to see her. But she was a dear friend of mine, and I said I wasn't going to do this either, but I'm a crybaby, so, and the older I get, it gets worse. But I had to come today, so I drove down last night. I did talk to Diana Fink this morning. She's teaching class, what she always does, I think 7 days a week. I'm not sure, but she wanted me to tell you all that she's sending her condolences and saying hello to all of you, and wish she could be here. Thank you.
There's actually a body behind here. Most of you know me, and I just really didn't want to talk, but all in all, I just want to say that you know how close I was with Betty Ribeiro. Well, the three of us together was really dangerous. And the last story I can talk about, I told Paula keys this in the car. I had already had my surgery and I really hadn't traveled, and I had already made arrangements to go to my 50th high school, 20th, God bless, 50th high school reunion with help from my son, and the conference was like 3 weeks before that, and I decided I was going to go because Margie wouldn't leave me alone. She'd call me constantly, text me. I have all this equipment. I have a wheelchair. I have a walker. I have a scooter. And I said, well, who's going to push you? And she said, well, Melanie will be there. I said, would you leave Melanie alone? She goes, you have to come. So Paula and I went. It was an amazing weekend because I hadn't seen anybody in a while, and but I would never have gone if it wasn't for her begging me, and now I am so glad that I did, because that was the last time I saw her, because after that, traveling is not an easy thing. So unless anybody's going to where I want to go, I don't go. So, but she was just an awesome lady. The first time I ever met her was a convention in, it was not Sanibel. Well, yeah, we were at the Sanibel Resort, and I don't know if I got my dates right, but I think she was running for RVP, and she was pulling this wagon around that had a big stuffed bear in it, and of course Betty was explaining everything to me, and she and I joined at the same time, so I don't know how she knew so much, but she was telling me this and that and this and that, and it really made me feel like a member before I even became a member. So it really isn't relevant to anybody but me, but those are my thoughts while y'all are talking. So since I got shamed into this, that's what I really have to say. I miss her like crazy. She used to call me sometimes too, because she knew I was home and I couldn't go anywhere. So, we talked. I really, really thought she was doing so much better that I started telling people that knew her that weren't part of NAIW or IAIP. And then all of a sudden, I got this call that she was so sick, and I felt bad that I hadn't talked to her the day before. It's just you get busy doing nothing, and that's exactly what you do, nothing. But I just wanted to tell you that I love her and I miss her, and she and Betty and Joyce are up there making a lot of trouble. That's all I have to say.
Up here and talk about someone that we are going to miss very much. That was very much. I have to put this in front of me because I have to hide myself. Because I'm going to tell you what. In the last several years, I've been asked to speak at some funerals and memorials, and whether it's 2 or 20 or 200, I'm still nervous. And right now, I feel like I'm in a nightmare in a CWC competition. I hope you didn't sneak in a judge, okay? But we are going to really miss Margie. But I think that it's important that we remember everything we learned from her. We remember those laughs, those trips. And that's the way that we keep her alive. And if you'll let me tell you one last thing before I close. Now I'm going to cry. About 2 or 3 weeks before Margie got really sick, I had put together a care package for her. I put some puzzle books and some prayer cards and notes, just a lot of little things in there, and I wrapped it all up, sealed it, and I addressed it. And I laid it on my table to take to the post office because, it'd be a few days, but I would take it. I'm ashamed to say that that's still on my table. It is still on my table. And it'll be there for a while because it's going to remind me more that we don't always have tomorrow. You don't always have tomorrow. And I want to encourage you all. If you need to say, I love you, if you need to say, I'm sorry, I forgive you, or please forgive me, do it. Mend that relationship, that broken family, the hearts that are hurting, get it right, make it right. And then you go celebrate. So the one thing that's my favorite saying, probably because it involves shoes, is life is short. So you need to take the trip, and you need to eat the cake, and you need to buy the shoes. but definitely you need to celebrate. And that's kind of all I have, unless there's something else you guys want to say. If not, then I'll close this in prayer, and there's food in the back for everyone. And Krispy Kreme donuts. And I think you'll notice there's M&Ms on the tables too, because Margie liked M&Ms. I heard somebody say she never met a chocolate bar she didn't like, and I remember her saying that. So if I could get you to stand, and then I'll close this all in prayer. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today, and we thank you for this day. We thank you for all of your blessings that you give to us. We thank you for Margie, for letting us have her in our lives and letting us have memories and learn from her and carry on with the rest of our lives. I was asked that you give peace and comfort to all of her friends and her family, Lord, and help us all when we have those days that we want to mourn and grieve, and help us to pull out those little memories where we can just laugh and have a little celebration of her that day. I ask that you would go with us as we eat this food and enjoy each other's company, and then be with everyone as they leave this place. Put a hedge of protection around everyone so they arrive safely at this destination. Thank you for loving us. Forgive us when we fail you. And everyone said, Amen.